5 things that are new in Padshop 2. This is my review. Hey, what's up everyone? We're back with another tutorial in Cubase Pro 10.5. With the release of 10.5, they also released a new version of Padshop called Padshop 2. And I got to admit, this video has been a little hard to make because I've had so much fun playing around with it. It is super fun to use, and what I'm going to show you today is some of the new features, 5 of them to be exact. So let's just jump into it. Okay, so we have Padshop 2 loaded up on its initial patch. Now, one thing that's a new feature, the first thing I'm going to tell you about, is that like Padshop Pro in the past, but unlike the old version of Padshop that came with Cubase, you can actually put in your own sample. So let's just record a sample real quick. I'll mute this. This is a sample. Okay, that's our sample that we're going to use as our waveform source of sound generation. We'll just cut it down to size. And then I think what I'll do quickly is I'll go to the audio menu and direct offline processing, and we'll process it with a normalize, and we'll peak normalize it to 2 dB, and we'll apply there so that our sample is just a bit louder. Okay, now we'll pull in Padshop. Now entering samples into Padshop is a drag and drop operation. So I just take this sample and bada bing, bada boom, I drag it to this area right here, and we have our sample loaded in. So it's just as easy as that. Now what we're looking at here is the granular synthesizer part of Padshop. Padshop 2 really gives you a whole other synthesizer called the Spectral Oscillator, and that's what I'll focus on today, because this remains relatively unchanged from the last version of Padshop, the granular section. But if you hit this button right here, you can switch oscillator type, and it becomes the Spectral Oscillator. Now at a key of 100, we have that sample that I loaded in, and if I play C3, it'll play at its original pitch. This is a sample, this is a sample, this is a sample. Now it's looped right now. You can turn off loop and it'll just play it once. This is a sample. Or you can have it alternate, which will make it play through and then make it play back. This is a sample. This is a sample. So that's really cool. The thing about this Spectral Oscillator is that it is so cool at time stretching. They said that there's a new algorithm in there. I don't know what that means exactly, but all I know is that I've been having so much fun playing around with it. I want to show you one way to sync your Spectral Oscillator with your project's tempo, and you can have some awesome results here. So what we're going to start by doing is make our position 50, and that's where this starts. And then we'll make our speed 0. Okay, that seems easy enough. And I want to show you, so the Spectral Oscillator mode is the second new thing, but there's a new drag and drop mode. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose LFO 3, because the Polyphonic Lfo is brand new also in Padshop, and we can just drag it to the position knob here. And what we're going to do is have a saw wave, and the shape will be 100%. We'll turn on retrigger, and the sync mode will be tempo. Now if we do 1/2 note here, it'll play twice a measure. So we can listen to that. This is a sample, this is a sample. And it's synced to the beat of your project. So if I change the project beat to 100, this is a sample, this is a sample, this is a sample. But I think I'll have this at 180. So now, this is a sample, this is a sample, this is a sample, this is a sample. It'll play in time with this beat. So if I play this beat, this is a sample, 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 this is a sample. And another cool thing about Padshop is that there's actually 2 forms. So we can actually copy this and paste it into layer 2. And we have it. Now we can switch our start point for the sample so that maybe it just says sample. And we can switch this from a 1/2 note to a 1/4 note. And then we can mix them. Sample, sample, sample. Sample, 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 sample. Sample, 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 this is a 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 sample, 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 sample. So that's pretty cool. I don't know. I personally think that there's a lot you could do with this. Just because its time stretching capabilities within Padshop sort of make it like a sampler and a synthesizer combined. And so to go onto that, you know, that's the first three things. You can drag and drop samples in. There's the Spectral Oscillator mode. There's a Polyphonic Lfo now. And actually this drag and drop functionality is also new. So you can take any of your LFOs or any of your envelopes. There's a third envelope here, or the step modulator. Here's your first envelope. Here's your second envelope. And wherever you see these little guys, this like four, I don't know what it is, square, I don't know. Looks like the state emblem of New Mexico. You can drag, the amplifier envelope to whatever parameter lights up, which is kind of nice. So let's take this spectral oscillator and make more of a pad type sound with it. So we'll just go to A, we'll make the mix A, and we'll undo the modulation. Cool. So let's just, start here and here. We'll put our position all the way at the beginning. And let's make our speed -10 or something. And we can start to hear. So what this does is, you can see the line here. It's playing backwards at 10% of the speed. And the spectral oscillator has some new parameters, inharmonicity and purity. And I read about what they did in the manual, but if I tried to describe it to you, I would really just be repeating something I don't really understand. So like all instruments, sometimes you just got to play around with it. And then the formant, as the pitching, you can pitch your formant and you can get some cool results. And then maybe let's assign one of the monophonic LFOs to cutoff and also assign it to resonance. And maybe assign the amplifier LFO to inharmonicity. And all of a sudden we have like a evolving pad. And just by tweaking a few things. So the sound design possibilities with this are pretty insane. And a new thing on Padshop 2, this is the fourth new thing. The FX page is its own area. Before it was just down in the lower. And there's a chorusing effect to the reverb on it that sounds really cool. Obviously a flanger, chorus, ensemble, and phaser. And an EQ and a delay. So that's pretty rad. So we'll just turn off the effects because I want to show you one more thing. It's the Arpeggiator. The Arpeggiator from Retrolog has been incorporated into Padshop. So I did a video on the Arpeggiator, but you can have however long of the phrase you want, 16 or 8. I've done 8 here. And we'll go back to our oscillator. I've selected just this little piece here. And I'll turn off this so you can hear what the patch sounds like. So it sounds a little like marimba-like or something like that. And we'll turn on the Arpeggiator. And as you can see, it's like just on the major triad here. But for this velocity to work, you have to remember to have your amplifier velocity all the way up. And with that on, you can play a note. and you have a really cool sort of marimba pattern, and that's all from this initial sample. Let's just put everything back to normal. Where we do this. Off. This is a sample. 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 So that's some of the cool new features in Padshop 2. I hope you found this video useful. If you have, feel free to like or subscribe, and take care of yourselves, everyone. Peace.